One second. Okay, I know we're definitely live now. Welcome everybody. I am Eric Raditz, host TGIM. Welcome to Fort Myers Film Festival's film club, if you want to say. We have with us one Cassidy Reyes. Cassidy, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. We're going to do a quick introduction here. So if you want to just hold on 1 second, we'll be back in 1 minute and 2 seconds.
The weekend's gone and it's not the same, 'cause Monday's off, so damn Monday. Wish I had something to do tonight. Well, what once felt wrong now feels so right. Watching indie films on a Monday night with my friends while I intellectualize. Thank God that it's Monday. Thank God that it's Monday. Thank God that it's Monday, yeah. Thank God that it's Monday. Will I love it? Will I hate it? Will I watch it and debate it? Those critics with their movie eyes. Will they make me laugh and they make me cry? Some so bad that I want to die, but instead I pass the mic and I intellectualize. Thank God that it's Monday. Thank God that it's Monday. Thank God that it's Monday, yeah. Thank God that it's Monday.
All right. It's Monday. You know what that means. It's time for TGIM. Thank God it is Monday, and thank God for this Monday especially, as we have a very, very special guest with us today. One Cassidy Reyes, born in Fort Myers, has had unyielding desire to pursue her acting when she was 13, and her intense and emotional role of Sarah in the 2016 feature film and Fort Myers Film Festival official selection, Hanging Millstone. She saw her realizing her deep-rooted passion and love for acting. We have her here with us today, all the way from, I forget if you're quarantining here in the States, or can you say where?
I'm not gonna say where I'm quarantining right now, just because it's public.
Okay.
But I'll text you after.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, you know, a lot of times at TGIM, we'll look at films as you've been to and see films that are in consideration for the film festival. We've already selected our films for the film festival, and now because of that, we have the opportunity to now talk to others and see what they're streaming, what they're watching, what they're up to, and your career trajectory, which we know you're going places, and I'm very honored to have you. Thank you for being on the show. And thank you for being live here. Okay, so first things first, you know, I see some of your posts on Instagram. These posts are TikTok-ish. You're a TikTok girl, if I'm not mistaken. And I know there's a lot of opportunities with TikTok, but I don't quite get it. And I've had this conversation with others. Can you tell me a little bit about your TikTok entry into the entertainment world? Is it something that, how does that fit into your acting career? And then anything else you want to talk about?
Okay, well, first of all, I would not classify myself as a TikToker. The TikToks happened when I was in quarantine, productions got shut down, and I'm like, how can I, you know, entertain myself and kind of, you know, be creative with my craft at the same time? So I started doing TikToks, and a lot of them are just done, you know, for fun. And actually, funny story. So the one I posted with my grandma,
I saw that one. That was great.
Thanks. Someone had contacted me and was like, would you and your grandmother be interested in a sitcom series? So I'm in contact with that guy right now. Okay. And it's just, and I also, and some other people were telling me that, you know, producers, some of them are going on TikTok and finding actors. I'm not really sure how that all works, but I was basically just doing it for fun because all my productions got stopped. So I'm like, well,
Well, I have heard that, and I've read that there are TikTokers who are actually making a lot of money by endorsing products. So very popular and famous TikTokers will get $17,000 or some crazy amount to eat a candy bar that's by blank blank blank. So I don't know. It's something I've thought of, and I see that you're into it, and I just wanted to ask. Backing into, you were in Hanging Millstone, and you recently got picked up by an agent, and you've been doing some productions. I'm curious what you could tell us. What are you working on now, and how does it compare with some of the earlier productions you've been in before?
Well, I can tell you that I just worked right before quarantine started. I was just working with Justin Long. Are you familiar with him?
No.
Okay, you would know his face. Do you know Ryan Phillippe, Patrick Duffy, Melanie?
Okay. Sure. Okay. So now we're name dropping. So okay. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So they were all in the film. It's called Lady of the Manor, and I was in that a couple months ago in February with them. It's like a comedy set around this historical estate, and it was a lot of fun to work on that. And that's my most recent thing. That's my most recent thing with biggest names in it, I would say.
That's pretty big. Now, is that something that we can watch yet, or how would we find out when we can watch it? Or maybe this is a good time to introduce how to follow you and see, because you're probably updating people as to where we can see the films that you've been in and stuff that you're doing, I guess.
Oh yeah, definitely. So you can follow me at I am Cassidy Reyes on Instagram, or on Facebook is where I do most of my posting. So my Facebook account is just Cassidy Reyes, and then in parentheses American actor or actress. I can't remember which one I put, but yeah.
We'll put it in here, and we'll let people know where they can follow you. So I'm trying to remember. So you said we can watch that now, or it's not quite out yet?
It's in post-production right now.
Okay.
So it's being edited, and then I'm not quite sure what Justin Long is going to do with it. Maybe Netflix or Amazon Prime. I have no idea.
Okay.
So we'll find out.
What is it like with now as we see a lot of Hollywood being kind of shut down, like you said, with the quarantine, lot less and less work is being done. What is it like being an actress now in the biz who had kind of started to get into it hardcore, and now it's kind of pedaling back? Are you hearing when things will kind of open up again in the industry at all, or?
Yeah, I think this is what happened with the industry is, it obviously COVID-19 shut down everything. So all productions stopped, and all productions are going to continue to be halted. But what I'm noticing is that an increase in casting directors that are like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have all these things that are going to need to be casted for after this pandemic is up, because everyone's watched everything on Netflix, and they're like dying for content. So they're doing all of these calls and reaching out to people and saying, hey, can you get some self tapes in so we could see which role to place you in? I heard a casting director was casting for like 3 different films and was just sending out, I was in communication with her, just to send in my self tapes and stuff like that. And that's all in Los Angeles.
The jump from Fort Myers to Los Angeles is something I'm interested in hearing about, in New York and Atlanta. Fort Myers is it's a much more quieter town. We see and we support the films that you've been in here, and we support all local filmmakers really with selections and submissions, and it's really respected within our community that we do that. But the jump from kind of the Fort Myers market into bigger markets, can you tell us what challenges might you've had, or what have you enjoyed, or it had happened to you unexpectedly maybe that you might not have thought of?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing for me starting out in a small community that's not necessarily nationally recognized for its film yet, but I mean, Fort Myers is up and coming. And I think that starting out in UFTA, which is United Film and Television Artists, I started there when I was 14, and it was a really small group of us, and we did a short film, and that was my first film that I did ever when I was 14, I believe. And then since then, honestly, being part of a smaller film community really helps you get experience and gain knowledge about what it's like to be on a set, how to deal with, things that happen on set, and how to make further connections. So being in UFTA was definitely, and it's still going on right now. And I still do, when I can, I will go to the meetings. I mean, I think it's paused right now because of COVID, but that was definitely a big thing for me in my career. And then after that, I think, you know, I left medical school to be an actress. So that after I left medical school was when I was like, okay, I gotta hit the big markets. So I started, you know, looking out for agents and castings and all that kind of stuff, driving back and forth Miami, Atlanta, all that kind of stuff. And I think ultimately it's just mindset. You know, I think I have one goal in mind right now, and that is to be a successful actress, and everything else in my life is kind of just, you know, clouded. So I think I have one really strong goal, all about mindset, and things just kind of, you know, the path gets led, or the path gets made along the way.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And that kind of jump is a real leap. And I'm glad to see that you're getting work and getting into bigger projects and being asked to be a part of bigger projects. I have no doubt that we'll see you doing great things. Going from medical school and taking that leap, I know that was kind of a leap that you had given some thought to. Can you tell us a little about that career move?
Yeah, so I was doing that whole summer. I had about 4 months off between my senior year after I graduated college. I had about 4 months off. So during that time, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have my big break during this time. I just had it in my head. I'm like, I'm gonna have a big break during this time, and if I don't, then I'll go to medical school. So unfortunately, that big break did not occur really until I was in medical school. So basically I was in medical school. I was not enjoying it at all. It was not for me. I don't know why I didn't realize it sooner. I think I always knew I wanted to be an actor. I just thought I felt like I had to be a doctor. I don't know. So then I was in medical school, and I'm like, this is definitely the time to go and do acting. So I called my parents. I'm like, yeah, this is not for me. I'm leaving. I packed up all my stuff. I submitted a withdrawal form, and they're like, oh, are you sure? Do you want to just take a leave of absence? Do you want to talk to someone? I'm like, no, I know what I'm doing. See ya, I'm out.
Wow.
So,
well, hopefully you at least grabbed a couple of masks before you left. Just kidding.
I did.
You did. That is crazy. What's going on right now, and I know that our hearts go out to all those. It's a difficult time for so many, and I think a lot of people look to entertainment in this time. I do a streaming column for Florida Weekly where we talk about what's fresh and new to streaming. Which, when your film comes out, please let me know about it so I can include it. But one thing that we're finding is a lot of people are looking at different niches of what they're watching, less horror, less terror, more comedy, more animation. Is that something that, as you're in the biz or the industry, people are talking about regarding type of content that may or may not be more desirable in a post, or what we hope to be a post-COVID era? Or the other question would be, what are they saying about theaters reopening? Are you hearing anything regarding, obviously they're looking for content, so are they going to look for how will theaters reopen? These are all questions you may not feel like answering or care to answer, but I know for someone within the industry, it's something that's on the minds of those who aren't. Is there anything you can comment to that?
Yeah, I definitely think that I think that the world is going to go back to a new normal, especially within this industry. I think that you're going to see a rise in streaming content. So things like Netflix, Amazon Prime, any kind of streaming platform, you're going to see just skyrocket, temporarily, maybe permanently. I don't know. I can't predict the future, but I mean, movie theaters are something that people use to escape. It's a method of, oh, I'm going to go out tonight and go to the movies and kind of just get away from my own life. And that's what I think people use entertainment for is, they're having a bad day at work. They sit down and watch a comedy. And that's what I've noticed when I make a post, I do make it very strategic to target specific, people. And if you notice, I've been posting a lot of comedy content lately. I love doing comedy. I love drama as well, but I feel like comedy right now is more appropriate for the time because people don't always want to hear about doom and gloom. They want to see something that makes them laugh ultimately. So.
Right, especially not now. It's totally true. How are you keeping fresh? How are you keeping active? Are you brushing up or doing more monologues? Are you getting? How do you keep fresh when the industry is kind of down, looking for that reopening? Is that if you care to answer that?
Yeah, I think, just I do something for my acting career every day. Even if I'm just like, oh, I just feel like laying around, there's always something that I'm going to do. So whether it's, picking out a monologue, and sometimes I just do it for fun with no purpose whatsoever, just to do a monologue. Or I will, and honestly, a lot of this industry that people I didn't know about before is that there's a big business side to it. So right now I'm going through contracts, like deciding strategically, okay, I really want to play this role, but if I play this role, it'll make me more marketable in the future. And there's this constant kind of pull between what you want to do and what would make you more marketable. And that's the problem I'm facing in quarantine, actually. So like the business.
How do you decide that? That's a tough decision.
It's difficult. I have an agent, a couple agents in my ear that I take info from. Each of them have completely different opinions, and of course I'm like trying to consult my parents, but they're like, we don't know about this industry. So I'm kind of on my own. I'm just going to go with my gut at the end of the day. That's what I always do. So
It's smart. That's probably a smart decision. As I think of people who often aspire to reach great heights, often have some actors or actresses who they look up to, who have blazed a bit of a trail for them. Can you talk a little bit about any influences or those who you look to who are part of the business or part of the industry who you maybe don't have any advice from, but have established a sense of what they've done to inspire you?
Well, I have some ones that I know personally, and then I have some ones who I don't know personally. I'll start with the ones who I don't know personally first. So Ellen Pompeo on Grey's Anatomy. I don't know if you've ever seen that show. She plays Meredith Grey.
Yeah.
She is the reason why I started acting. I used to watch her. I was 12 years old. I would watch her on TV, and I'm like, how is this woman not a doctor? I didn't understand how she could be such a phenomenal actress. So I started, researching her. I was obsessed with Meredith Grey. So I was researching her all the time. I would write down scenes and do them out myself at like 12 years old. And so she's probably the biggest person that I don't know yet that I look up to in the industry. And then as far as people who I have met, like I worked with Justin Long. He was directing Lady of the Manor, and he's done a lot of comedies, and he just inspired me so much because he went from being an actor to the directing side of it. And he was just such a cool director and how he did everything. And he wasn't uptight. He wasn't creepy. He was just a great guy to work with ultimately. And then people from, my UFTA film group. So I have like Deb Ford, who I look up to a lot.
Yeah.
She's helped me out a lot. She sends me gifts all the time. I have like a little Oscar she bought me sitting on my desk. And then she bought me a necklace, and she's so sweet. And then Margaret Bishop, who's also in UFTA, love her. She's an actress as well. And then of course, Mario, and then my dad, they're not really actors. They're more like, they hang out, but I think they do some acting.
Well, and great is a solid someone that's been supportive as father. I know him, and I do love that guy, and it's great to see him support you, kind of getting out there and doing this. I am curious. We haven't really talked about it yet. With you being quarantined, is there anything that you're like? What are you streaming? What are you watching that you're liking right now? Anything you can talk about?
Yeah, so actually I had like 4 or 5 people over the span of like a year tell me that, you kind of remind me of, like, your acting style reminds me of Fiona Gallagher from Shameless. And I'm like, okay, I need to watch Shameless now.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm not saying you act like her in real life. You just kind of give off that vibe when you do auditions. And I'm like, okay, I have to watch the show. So I did. It wasn't really that much of a compliment, but she's a phenomenal actress. And on Shameless is just the best show. It's hilarious, and it's so vulgar and just absolutely insane, which draws viewers. So
yeah, and it's interesting. It's a type of genre that I think more people are accepting. Like we actually do like this. We do like it to be, and that's the nice thing about Netflix that I've seen as I'm streaming. These shows you're not PG, and you're not PG-13. They're not necessarily always absolutely terribly inappropriate, but we have people say the words they want. You can say shit, it's like it's not going to get screened out. So I think a lot of people who are getting things on Netflix and who are preparing things for Netflix feel that they can kind of creatively have control, and that's one thing I really like about Netflix. Okay, so Shameless was one. What else what else can you say you've been taking in during the quarantine?
Well, I watched this film on Netflix. It's called The Platform, and I think it was done by a Colombian producer, and they voiceovered it into English, I believe. And it was such a cool concept. I was just on the edge of my seat the whole time because I had never saw a film that was made in that way. Like, it was such an original idea, and I loved it. Yeah,
cool.
You should watch it.
I'm taking note of everything that you say. You've got I got the Shameless and The Platform. And any comedy? What's your fallback? Are you an Office girl? Are you a Friends? Or what do you what goes for that go-to when you know you need to laugh a little?
Okay, yeah, this is strange, but whenever I've had like a long day of, like, you know how sometimes like you spend 16 hours on set or whatever, and I just come home and I don't want to think about anything and I just want to go completely numb. I don't turn to comedy as much as I turn to like adult cartoons. So really? Like Big Mouth on Netflix, I'll just sit there and mindlessly watch that. I'm kind of embarrassed to admit that, but whatever, you know, like I'll just mindlessly watch that with like popcorn, and it's a really good stress reliever.
Very nice, very nice. I know you're a traveler, and I know you've been traveling a lot. Have you been able to travel at all? And if not, what are you looking forward to travel to? I know a lot of people kind of have this like post-quarantine kind of travel itch that's needing to be scratched. Do you have upcoming places you want to get to or are missing?
You know, I'm not a huge traveler, but I love to travel if it's for acting. So, you know, like I look forward to going to the big cities to film. That's where I look forward to traveling to. Or even, you know, Canada. Some of the things are filmed in Vancouver, which I would totally be down to go to Canada. But would I go to Canada leisurely? Probably not. You know, I'm just not a vacation type of person, which is where I'm very like, if it's for acting, I'll go.
No, that's probably where your exploration will come from the most, is being in the business, and the need to travel will provide you being able to travel. So that's exciting. You know, I was also thinking a lot of people who are from Fort Myers, they see people like you kind of taking the leap, getting into the business, and you're almost at that level, I think, where it might be nice to hear kind of advice to others. Who are thinking about getting people who are part of UFTA, people who are submitting films to the Fort Myers Film Festival, people who are living in Southwest Florida, if they are interested in kind of going along the path like you have, getting into acting, is there any kind of advice that you might offer them?
So everybody's path in acting is different. Everyone you see on TV, Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, I'm using basic names, Emma Roberts, Julia Roberts, they all have very different paths. And I think that the thing with an acting career or a producing career or a directing career, all of those people take very different paths, and no path is correct. And that's what I love so much about this industry, is it's very much create your own way, essentially. So I think the biggest piece of advice, the best piece of advice I could give, is to have a mindset of positivity and just think this is absolutely possible. You know, there are going to be obstacles along the way, but don't let those cloud your, you know, how you feel about yourself or anything. There's always going to be obstacles, but ultimately keep a positive mindset and remember the end goal. Don't worry about how you're going to get there. Just know you are. That's the thing.
I do love that. I think I mentioned to you one time, one of the most inspiring speeches that I point to some people to is Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia did a commencement speech. You look it up on YouTube. And he was talking about how he was looking at, you know, jobs, and he got offered a small role in a daytime soap opera, and or he could take a chance with these three other friends of his and do this thing called It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And it was inspiring because it's certainly not a path that anyone leading up to could have encouraged him to take.
Right.
It felt right to him, I think, he said. And now, you know, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, one of the longest, if not, you know, the longest and most successful comedy ever. But it didn't start off with an agent. It didn't start off with, you know, getting a small role, jumping to a big role. Not that those are bad per se, and they do happen. But I remember that really kind of transforming my thinking regarding what is normal about how to make it, and it's always different paths.
Definitely. And I'm sure everyone told him, don't do It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Don't do it. Do the more logical thing. But he did what he felt was right. And now look where he is now. So I support that fully.
Well, we support you. I know we try to keep this down to a half an hour, and as time is nearly running out, I just want all of our viewers to know, again, how to follow you, where to follow you, and where to find you. If you could tell us again where to find and follow you.
Yeah, sure. So my Instagram is at I am Cassidy Reyes. And then my Facebook is just Cassidy Reyes in parentheses, American actor.
Very good. All right. Any final words? What did I miss anything? Should I be promoting something else of yours? I mentioned the show you were in. That's not out yet. You have stuff's coming up you can't talk about. Yeah, I got everything right.
You got everything. And if you want to see, they can see on my Tom Hall wrote a wonderful article about me. I think if you just Google Cassidy Reyes article, actress article, it should come up and it'll tell you like everything that I've been doing. Thanks to Tom Hall. He's awesome. He wrote a great article. And also UFTA, we're always accepting new members in the local film community. So, and that's where I started out. So.
Well, big shout out to them. And I know they're an integral and a big support to the film festival as well. They have a film by Ernesto de la Vega, actually, who and they are all performing in it, it seems like. I don't know if you were in that one that was accepted for our 2020 year. Our season is on hold temporarily, but and Ernesto is part of that, yes?
Yeah, I love Ernesto. Yeah, he's awesome.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. We love you from Fort Myers to wherever you're quarantining and whoever you're quarantining with. We'll be sure to follow you and let everyone know when to find you. Please let us know if I know you're going to get busy. You don't have to let us know everything, but as stuff comes out that we can let our viewers know of what you're doing. I'm sure Tom Hall will probably be on it before we will, but if you let us know, we'll be happy to spread the word. We're big support and we love all that you're doing. So thank you so much, Cassidy Reyes, for being a part of it tonight. Thank you for joining us for TGIM.
Thank you so much.
All right. Okay, everybody, that ends TGIM. Don't be sure to come with us next week. We're back here again on Monday live from Fort Myers, talking to guests and you about what you've been watching and films. So thank you again for Cassidy Reyes. We'll see you guys all next week. Until